There's nothing to really like work too hard at on this class. It's mostly going to be an activation. So I'm going to do a small presentation, mostly just so we can stay on track. And let's go ahead and get started. So this is the first professional development circle, and it really is a holistic branding approach. And we're talking about branding. So your brand is how your energy, expertise, and your client experience align. But before we get into that, let's do a little breathing and receiving, because the thing is that most of us are automated with how we're going about our life. We are just doing the same old things, check the emails, listen to the class, multitask, get overwhelmed, not understand what we can do or what we can't do. And we need to take ourselves off automatic and put ourselves in the driver's seat. We need to access that 0 point field. We need to access that possibility matrix. And the way that we do that is by becoming really centered in our body. So go ahead and call all of your attention back into your body as if you were a genie in a bottle in reverse. Just really become present with my voice, allowing my words to wash over you like water through bricks. I want you to imagine that your body is right here inside of this vertical infinity symbol, and I'm going to have you start breathing right from your midline. This is your belly button. I'm going to have you imagine and trace a golden infinity symbol up over your head, back around your back, crossing back over and back down. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's a lot like patting your head and rubbing your stomach, so don't worry about getting it right. It's just going to open up a whole bunch of new energy. So let's begin right underneath the belly button, breathing in, up and around, crossing over and breathing down, coming back up. We're going to do 8. And this time, when you go out, see if you can give yourself a nice little pelvic floor squeeze on the way up. You squeeze up and breathe out. Really expelling the air on the way out. Engaging your Pilates imprint. Squeezing your pelvic floor up as you breathe all the way out. 5. 6. 7. And on this last one, really bring your posture up, shoulders back and down. Get your spine nice and tall. And now I want you to imagine that this infinity symbol has gone on its side and you are weaving a little thread over to the sister on one side of the Zoom. Doesn't matter which way. And let's just try to weave a nice golden circle between all of us. This is a beautiful circle of women that are coming together in the spirit of collaboration. There's no competition in here. There's no scarcity. There's enough for everybody. The more that we all succeed, the better that this industry can be. You are the rare ones. You're the 1% who came and showed up for yourself on a Monday morning. So, let's get started. So first of all, why would we want to build a brand? That is the number one thing we need to talk about, just making sure nobody else came in here. Why do we want to build a brand? That's the first place to start. So let's share this again. And the brand is the thing that builds the equity. The brand is the value that starts acting like a bank account, that starts building up value even when you're not working on your clients with your hands. So your brand can be working even when you're not, and your brand can change lives. So a lot of this is like high level, and we need to bring it down. So let's just keep going and just sort of open up. What I want you to do is just open up to these questions and not try to make them mean anything quite yet. We'll get there. My big interesting point of view about the aesthetics industry. I spend a lot of time in the Facebook groups. I left the professional industry and stopped coaching and mentoring for like 7 years. And during that time, I left the Facebook groups completely. Okay. Went on, put my blinders on, worked with my clients, charged big money for it, had big success, just lived my best life doing my own thing, did not mess around with any Facebook groups. But when I decided to go all in back to the esthetician, and not because I had to, by the way, I was making great money and living my best life. But the problem with me is that I have a mission, and the mission is to shift and uplift how 1 million women feel about themselves when they look in the mirror. And in order to do that, I need hands. I need more hands. I need to share what I have developed. But so because I work for God told me I need to be working with the esthetician. So I said, okay, God. All right. I said, okay. And I went all in. I closed my Shopify website with my own product line. I stopped working with clients and I went all in on the esthetician. And so because of that, I went back into the Facebook groups. And first of all, something to know about me, and some of you, I think Karina, we met during this time. Some of us have been networking on the internet since before Facebook groups. There was an MSN message board, and we had a group called Spa Biz Board. And uh, so I have been immersed in these issues since the very beginning. But so I came back to the Facebook groups. I'm getting somewhere here with all of this. And I hear the problems all day long because I have an internet business and because I'm a marketer and a brander and I create soul services and do masterminding with clients. I have the ability to be like the eyes and ears of what's going on with the industry. And if I had $1 for every time someone said, how do I get more clients? You can see where I'm going there. And I'm going to say it. We don't have client problems. We don't have marketing problems. We have brand clarity problems. People do not understand, estheticians don't understand how to connect with their client at the brand level. And that's why they think that they need to get more clients. But what they really need to get is clarity on who they are, what they solve, who they serve, what they transform, all of these things that we're going to get into the class. So that is how I created this class, because those are the problems that I see every single day, and it breaks my heart because everybody is spending all this money on tools and product lines and trainings, which yes, we need those because, the aesthetic industry is not giving us a good training, but we also need to give just as much attention to the container that we use to transform our clients, and that is the brand. And, it's that when our services, and when I say offers, that's kind of a coach word, but just let's replace offers with services. When our services sound like everybody else is, the anti-aging, microcurrent, LED light, microneedling, nano fusion, yada, 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 and we're just chasing the trends instead of the truth about who you are and what the magic is in your hands, your message is going to get lost. And the client is just going to scroll on by because they do not see themselves in the message. So we need a you could actually have ads that work so that the algorithm can actually work for you. And I'm going to call you back out, Karina, a little bit just because you're an expert and I've known you so long and I think you have a great brand. You posted a video about beef tallow that I saw in the group, and I also saw it on TikTok. And this is a really good example of sharing what your values are. Now, not everybody's going to agree with you, and it doesn't matter if we do. You said something from your heart that you put out into the algorithm, and then the people that you're meant to serve, it's going to land with them. And the people that it's not meant to serve, it's going to repel them. And we need to be more comfortable with repelling and attracting. That sounds a little like a magnet, doesn't it? Magneticness. So, yes, this is about magnetic marketing. So, let's talk more about a brand. Your brand is what your soul client dreams of. It's what your soul client aspires to be. It's how your soul client feels about you. It's a vibe, it's a culture, and it's a symphony of notes because it's not just one of these things, it's all of these things together. But this is probably my best favorite thing that I came up with about what a brand is. It's a living expression of the solution to your soul client's specific challenges and desired transformation. So that's the whole symphony, right? That's the whole experience of the brand. And I really hope that Skintessa, which is my brand, is that for you. That is everything that I do is about being the solution to the challenges and the desired transformation that my soul estheticians are struggling with. So a brand is not a logo, it's not an aesthetic, it's not a product, and it's actually not you, but it can be all of these things. So I think that there's a lot of confusion about what a brand is and isn't, and we need to keep this in mind that this is a symphony is not just one note, right? So that's why this is a symphony. It can be a part of the logo, it can be an aesthetic, it can be a product. You are certainly involved, but it's the sum of these parts. It's not the individuals. And here's a brand, right? A cattle brand, which is crude, but that is really what a brand is. It's an indelible mark that we make in our soul client's world. It's a mark that can't be erased. It can't be eliminated, forgotten. And that's what we want. We want our client when they're thinking of, oh my gosh, I'm looking in the mirror and I am feeling dull or looking like my mother or all of the things that our clients think when they look in the mirror before they come and work with us. We want them to think immediately of, body celebration, for instance. So here's something you may not have ever heard, but it's a big part of how and what I teach, and that is that your brand has a consciousness. Let's just let that land. It's a business entity. Your brand is a business entity and it has a consciousness. And so if you really get that, then there's so many more possibilities, okay? So I want to give a personal example of how this played out in my life. Remember back to when I was saying I was just living my best life, selling products all over the country and working with luxury clients, helping them replace their facelifts with my quantum beauty methodology. I was happy. I was happy doing that. I have an Airbnb that used to be at my spa. I make great money doing that. I help my husband's multi-million dollar construction business. I was happy. I was happy doing that. But actually, my brand had its own consciousness and it wanted to be brought to the aesthetic world. And as soon as I developed myself enough and I became ready, my brand and my business made it almost impossible not to do that by delivering me the perfect soul client that would help me understand that. And because I listen and talk to my brand and ask questions of my business, I was able to get the message very, very clearly. Now, we might not be used to this because these are the invisible aspects of energetics that we don't talk about a lot, but just consider it. We'll just consider it for today and we can keep this conversation going. But a brand is also an identity, right? So it's an entity and an identity. And let's think about ourselves. We have an identity, right? And if we were getting really witchy with it and energetic with it, which I want to do, and which I do in all of my deeper containers, is that an identity is the I am state of who we're being. So my new identity as the Skintessa is a transformational beauty mentor, helping estheticians develop transformational product lines, soul services, brands, international brands, and that's my identity as the Skintessa. So I can build the identity all around that, and that helps me put on the clothes of the brand, right? Which are all of the logos and the colors and the different things. So your brand is both an entity and an identity. So that means it has a consciousness and it has a point of view about what it's here to do. So let's start tuning into your brand. I want every single person to kind of think about who is your favorite client right now? Is there like somebody that was just your favorite client? When I was working with clients, I had a client named Missy, and she was my favorite client. She just loved working with me. She always referred me. She always bought the high level of what I was offering. She was a pleasure to work with, and she got results. She was constantly taking herself to the next level. So let's go around and think about who your soul client is, and then think about how that soul client wants to feel and wants to be. It can be what that soul client really needs in order to have what she desires. Now, these are just questions. We haven't gotten to the answers yet. Start thinking through that. You guys can put anything in the chat that's coming up. So this is really asking us to get to know the personality of and the identity and the consciousness of this brand, right? It's not just about what the name is. All right, so let's find out. Do you have a brand already? Can your clients describe what it feels like to work with you, not just what you do? Is your message consistent everywhere? And I think messaging is a big part of branding that we don't talk about a lot. Like we all have, we know we can work with ChatGPT. We know we can buy a content membership and get all the templates. But are we really putting in our specific flavor? And do we really know like what we stand for? And is that consistent everywhere? That's something that I've been, learning over time. Just because I didn't have my message consistent everywhere didn't mean I didn't have a brand, but the more that my message has been consistent, the more that the brand energy has grown. So, what is your message? When we talk about a message, those are the words that you're using on a regular basis. Like, trying to think of an example right now, but transformational beauty, for instance, is something that that I'm using as a message, and I'm being very consistent with it. I used to call it quantum beauty when I was working with clients, but I've shifted that to transformational beauty because it works better for the aesthetics industry. So, do you know exactly who you serve and how your work transforms them? I know that I serve heart-centered estheticians that maybe are in the broom closet or are secretly energetic. And my work transforms them because they learn a new business model outside of trading time for dollars. They develop brands that work when they are sleeping. They are deeply connected to their value and are able to transform their impact and their income. And I know that, within a shadow of a doubt, that makes it very easy to market, by the way, because I know exactly who you are. And what about your values? What do you value? I value consciousness, so I talk about it a lot. I value transformation. I do not value surface level results on the skin or the brand. And so if you were to go to your about page, which many of you are working on a glossier website, or is that what it's called? Booking websites just in general. If you don't have a full website, then the brand is not fully developed. And do people think of you when they think of results or transformation, or are they thinking of the service item? Again, these are sort of high level, so just do with it what you will. This is just the beginning. So ways to express a brand that are seen are a branded product line, a website. I really think a website, and in this day and age, um, websites are changing a little bit the way that that we're being found, because it's more important that we present our website to be found by the different AI chatbots. But websites are still really important. If you don't have a website and you're just working off a booking site, it says something about about your brand, essentially. We need to be spending as much time and attention on the website as we do on our treatment room. Your website is the virtual treatment room. I go a little crazy on this because I think that it's like we have to have that virtual showroom, and that virtual showroom really needs to be aligned with your actual service and what you actually do. Now, if you went to my website and then you looked at me on the video today, I am going to look aligned in this Zoom call with the way that my website looks and who I am in real life. Everything is aligned, and that creates power. So social media presence, of course, that's important, but not just putting up, pumpkin mass specials. We need to start talking to our client, to the client's wishes and desires. We need to really talk to the identity that that client is wanting to align with. And I've been saying align a lot, and that can be jargony. So let me break that down a little bit more clearly. When you have a soul client, she's struggling with something and she desires something, right? So when I was working with clients, I used to call my clients depreciated beauties because they felt like their value was running out as they aged. So I called them the depreciated beauty. Sometimes I called them anti-agers because they were crazy about trying to stop the march of time. So we need to have our social media really start talking to that identity that they're struggling with, and then future pace them. Well, how do they want to feel? My clients want to have age freedom. They want to feel like uh, they were aging lightly, right? So I might call them let's see, the higher self beauty. I know that was one of the future paced identities that I called them. But whatever it is for you, we want to start talking about what she's experiencing and being really specific about what she's struggling with. For instance, one of the messages that I would say on my social media is, do you have more than 5 serums, moisturizers, and creams that you've bought from the internet, the drugstore, or the esthetician, and you're not using them together with a strategy or a plan? So you've never seen big results, and you're always on the lookout for something better. Ding, 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 ding. Do you know how many people would raise up their hand and go, that's me, including, all of us in the room, because we're all struggling with that. But being really specific and expressing that within your social media beyond just, seasonal specials and graphics that are just bland, that could look like anybody else's. If I go to your social media and I can't tell you apart from somebody else in another town or even in your own area, then you don't have a brand, and you're leaving money on the table. So this is really important. And I know we have so many things that we need to work on, and it's like, one more thing. But I promise this is the thing that will make you immune to the economic problems that everybody is talking about in the social media, in the Facebook groups. Okay, so the service menu and treatment experience is a way to express the brand. I recommend creating a soul service, something that is branded that only you can deliver. We don't talk about the hydrofacials or the gua sha trainings or the nano infusions or the cell needles, or I can't remember all of the different things that are trending right now. We don't talk about the professional brands. We name it something. We put a transformation. We put a point A and a point B together with it. And then we talk directly to the person that it's meant for, and we brand it. And we do not talk about professional skincare trainings and tools and treatments unless that product line or tool or training is going to link back to you and send you business. We need to stop. We need to stop giving the professional skincare industry all the flowers and give ourselves the flowers. I get a little nuts on that, but we can discuss your studio aesthetic and environment. Now, a lot of us are really good at that. Thank you, Instagram, right? We know about that aesthetic and we know about that environment. So just make sure that that's a golden thread that's weaving back to your website, that's weaving into your service menu, that's weaving into the social media presence beyond it being a cute photo, because cute rooms are like cute girls. If they don't have the depth and they don't have the values and they don't have the whole entire package, it's like looks fade and it doesn't really make that big of an impact on you. Okay, that's kind of the best analogy. Photography and visual identity. Let's invest in some professional photography. Please do not use AI photos on your website. I'm begging you. And I know there's really good ones out there. And if you are going to hire someone maybe I personally don't think it's a great idea because every photo has an energy behind it. And if it's really you, there's just something that you can't get from AI. And investing in some photography is the best thing you can do. I have a professional photo shoot once a year, but then I also do my own selfies. I have a great mirror, I've got great lighting. In this day and age, we're all experts at selfies, and you can absolutely put selfies on your website. Just make sure that you spend some time to frame it correctly, have clothes that match your branding, your brand, and keep the photography moving and keep it fresh. By the way, guys, friends, gone are the days that we make a website and then we never go back to it and look at it again. Those days are over. Okay. How many people, I just can't tell you how many people make a website and then it's just like set it and forget it and they never go back there. And there's old offers on there, there's old energy, there's old photos. And so if somebody new is coming and finding you on Google or coming through an Instagram post and going to your website, and it's just like not who you are in this day and age, the energy just drops off. So spend some time on that. And most of us know a professional photographer who will do a trade with us. Now, I'm not a huge proponent of trades because they can get sticky, but if you have something that's just like, this photography session, which should be like $750 to $2,000, traded for this amount of sessions, make it really clean, make a written contract, then I think it's completely fine. But please do invest in professional photography. And then, having the cute little labels, the cute little bags, business cards, they're kind of outdated unless you put them on a magnet and somebody can put it on the fridge. But those are the tangible expressions, the seen ways that we express a brand. And here I have my branded color with my logo. So just a little sneaky brand expression there. And the Skintessa, I went through many, many, many different iterations of this logo. And this logo is actually, this part is hand drawn, all those little rays. That's like, the energy. I'm all about the energy and all about the light and all about that expansion. And this is a hand drawn logo. And so there's something that comes from that, right? There's There's a little, it's got gravitas. So pay attention to your logo. All right, let's do a little exercise. Who do you serve? What do you solve? And how do you transform your clients? You can put it in the chat. You can just think about it. I serve estheticians, specifically heart-centered, holistic, energetic, leading edge, cool girls. I solve the problem of trading time for money. I solve the problem of being at the whim of the professional brands, building building the business of the professional brands, and then they just market to direct to the client. I solve that problem. I solve the problem of not knowing what a brand is. And how I transform my clients is by helping them set up their own branded product line, by helping them create their own soul service, and at the top level, helping them learn my light lift quantum beauty methodology, creating a whole brand ecosystem. So who do you serve? What do you solve? And how do you transform? And this is kind of, basic marketing about your avatar, about your ideal client. But if you're trying to serve everybody, you're going to be serving no one. I promise you that. In this day and age, it's real hard to try to serve multiple clients. When I was working with clients, I was serving a magical, highly sensitive woman who did not want to get plastic surgery. Do you see how specific that is? Because if you are a wealthy woman who's actually highly sensitive and you have the money to get plastic surgery, but nobody is giving you any alternatives that acknowledge that you have magic in your own hands, and you're not coming across an esthetician in your town who is speaking your language, and here I come along and I'm working virtually, but I'm speaking directly to her. That's a big hole in the market right now. They're out there. One of the last women that I served at that level, her husband is a famous movie producer. She could have had all the plastic surgery that she wanted in the world. But people that were talking about an anti-aging facial were not going to do the trick. She needed to come inside and work with me for 6 months and do the whole entire thing. So because I knew exactly who she was, and what I solved for her, I solved the problem of her not being able to regenerate and rejuvenate her skin without plastic surgery. And I transformed her through a combination of virtual coaching, custom-made product line, techniques, home care ritual, etc. I was able to powerfully sell that offer because I knew this down deep. So let's just workshop this a little bit. And when we open up for shares, we can actually go around and workshop this a bit. Okay, energetic expressions of the brand. I guess that slide should have been to the slide before. But energetic expression. So these are the invisible parts of a brand. Your messaging and language, we went through that. I never say anti-aging. I'm always horrified when I see people talking about anti-aging products. Like, I stopped saying anti-aging a decade ago. Please stop saying anti-aging. If you say anti-aging and there is a wealthy woman who's already into bioharmonizing and having her hormones worked on and doing wellness and all of the latest things that are happening in the greater health and wellness industry, and you say anti-aging, it's going to be an immediate no. We don't want to be anti our age anymore. Older women, we want to feel like we are fresh and in the prime of our life, and that, we don't even have to say age at all. It's just, if you had to say it, it would be well aging, but that's messaging. Okay. So if you say anti-aging, you're immediately going to be cutting yourself off from a high level client. Okay. Energetic expressions that are felt, client communication and boundaries. How do you set up that first time client? First time facial should always be the longest, most expensive facial that you have so that you have all the time in the world to talk about how you're going to serve them, how she can work with you, what is okay, what is not okay, the consultation flow, the rituals that you set up for her, the tone, the pace, the energy in the room, the music, the follow-up and the aftercare experience, and the values of how you're making her feel, expressing those values, what you're for and not for. I'm against Botox, you guys, because you know what? When I was doing Botox, I was miserable. And I was so afraid to age. And every single person that was feeding me Botox did not care about my best interest. Now, if I have clients that do Botox and that's totally fine, but I am going to talk about the fact that I'm anti-Botox because I think it's ridiculous. The emperor has no clothes. I'm going to say it. Now, people that are really attached to it and are going to feel defensive about it, guess what? They're probably not going to want to work with me, and that's okay. I don't talk about that within my branding and my personal, the way that I help an esthetician create her brand, but I'm certainly was talking about that when I was working with clients because you know what, the fact of the matter is I look better now that I don't do Botox than I did when I was using it. And I don't think it's necessary. And I think that the industry is fallen asleep and is under a spell of big Botox. And while I'm on this rant, let me just tell you that Botox, and everybody already knows this, but I study a lot of marketing, and there's something in marketing called category creation, which is a category is like professional skincare is a category. Holistic beauty is a category. Medical grade skincare is a category. These are not FDA regulations or laws. These are just distribution strategies. So they're category. So Botox started off as a medical as a, for as a medical treatment for headaches and different sweating, right? And then they hired a category creation strategist and they changed the problem of headaches and sweating to women's faces. And that's how we have today's injection category. And so we have to understand, do you see how powerful the brand is? They changed the problem. They changed something that was invisible and it changed the way we do beauty for the rest of the time. And I'm going to be outspoken about it because there's so many women that it hurts. And so that's how what I'm talking about, values in action, that's going to make people feel some sort of type of way. Now, you have to decide what that is for you. That could be beef tallow, that could be MLM skincare, that could be not wearing sunscreen. None of it is right or wrong. It's our point of view, and we get to have our own point of view, and that's our brand. Okay, I don't want us to get into the trap of thinking there's only one way to do skincare and there's only one way to do beauty. If you are really into the injections and you're really into, you think that it's really a good part of how you do your business, then you get to like stand in that value. And I will never shame you for it. You get to make your videos, you get to make your POV, but we have to have a POV because if we don't, then we're just like, it's that age-old quote, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And people just can't match themselves up because what's happening with branding is that clients are matching themselves up to your POV, right? So if when I was working with clients, if I go on a rant about Botox, then the person on the other side of the screen is like, thank God somebody is saying that. That's exactly how I feel. I want to work with her. That's how people make decisions to work with you. So I shared that not to tell you that you have to be anti-Botox. I shared that to tell you as an example of how I put my values in action and how I made people feel. Because if they didn't see a woman in her 50s that has a very firm, fresh, lit up face without any Botox, they might not know it's possible. And so I inspire people to think and to feel, oh, wow, it is possible. I can do that. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So here's the offers. Let's go through this quickly. I am now setting up product lines for people because I have been working with a pharmacist for close to 10 years who have made my product line for me. And we are going to Well, I'm going to start helping a select amount of estheticians do that themselves. How do you know you need your own product line? When you have a brand, when you want to have that brand experience in the person's bathroom with them, when you have a regular amount of clients, when you're not struggling, when you're really ready to take it to the next level, then I am opening up an offer to set you up with that. Now it's $497. That gets you the name of the lab, all of the collateral I've developed, all of the exact step by step, plus a branding course to help you get it all set up, and one call with me to get you to kind of give you an overview. And it comes with a sample package of whatever your chosen focus is, whether that is well aging or acne, pigment, whatever you want to choose, you will get a sample line with that and it will get you started. It's just just helping you get started. And then that's like something that you do on your own. Soul service is really exciting. This is something that is going to be now done in a 6-week sprint so that you have me. There's going to be 3 calls. It's $2,997 for 6 weeks. I'm going to help you create a branded signature soul service. And we need to think about when we're spending money like almost $3,000 on a course or like a transformational program, what is the upside? One soul client, the lifetime value of one soul client is upwards of $50,000 over the lifetime of you working with her. That's like over, 15 years. So this is really an investment in your brand. And then I'm opening up a mastermind. That's for people that already have an established brand, but really want to work on a moonshot, whether that is making, a digital offer, making an online program, taking your private label, taking your product line to the next level, developing e-commerce, doing all of that. Then you'd work with me for 6 months with another group of women. I've just ended my certification, and a lot of them are moving into this mastermind. This is by application only. We need to make sure that you would be a good fit for it, but I don't know of any other coaches that are offering something like this that, comes with me looking over your entire brand. So those are the offers that I have right now. For the product line, these are pharmacist made, small batch, cleaner than anything that you're going to get from large companies that make big vats of products that sit on the shelf. They are just incredible. I'm basically going to peel back the entire process that I did to create my own line. And that took me 3 years to do it. So I'm shrinking it all down and just telling you exactly what to do. So for the right person who's already thinking about this, it is a fantastic opportunity. And yeah, so that's 495. I will put the link to that and the chat. And then if you're interested in soul service that's starting in November or the mastermind, you can send me a DM. So why working on your brand is powerful is we really need to stop trying to be everything to everyone. We want our brand to become the filter that calls in those clients that already value our work. We want our services to stop feeling transactional. We want them to feel transformational, that your clients will want to stay devoted to. We want your offer and product to carry your presence. We want them to be thinking about you and seeing you at home, not just when they run into you on Instagram. I want you to no longer have to compete on price or technique. I want you to charge for the transformation. I want you to have a business that expands through alignment, not exhaustion. And that's what the industry teaches us right now. Time for money, burnout, and it doesn't have to be that way. All right, friends. So I'm going to stop the share and let's talk about it. Let me catch up on this chat. All righty. Yay. Love it, Sharon. I'm so excited to be helping you with your soul service. Let's talk about burnout in our industry. I got burnt out. I got real burnt out. Well, Karina knows my personal story. Not everybody knows. Jessica knows my personal story, and Karina knows my personal story. But my husband had a PTSD incident, and it went on, and it's bad. I don't really want to say the whole thing. It's not that I care to talk about it. I don't mind saying the whole thing, but it's just not going to serve my brand purpose today. Long story short, it forced me, it was a gift from God. It forced me to close down my spa and move into my studio, which put me on my life's purpose. But I was so burnt out, you guys. That's when I was doing Botox. So that's why I was kind of put it all together with that, because I was so stressed on the inside that the Botox gave me the instant, like, I didn't have to see the stress on my face. Think about how many people are going through that. They just want a little Botox because then they don't have to deal with the fact that they're decaying on the inside because of all the fucking cortisol and stress and inflammation. So we have stress because we are trying to trade all these time for dollars and sell branded product lines, and we're not cleaning our energy at night. We're working on too many clients. We're trying to be something for everybody, and we're burnt out. We need to address the burnout because, as um, Gabriella said when she first came on, she's a new esthetician. She said, I just think it's so important that we fill our own well before we touch our clients, that we really are the example of beauty. But how can we be that when we're trying to do all of this stuff? I hear you. I hear you. I recommend we still have to do social media if we want to build business, but I promise you that, like with the Skintessa, with my brand right now, because I'm aligned with my mission, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Some of you might not be doing what you're supposed to be doing. We might need a different change of client. We might need to be changing the way that we do business. When I was working on clients the way I was doing it, it wasn't right. It wasn't until I had alignment that I was supposed to actually drop my ego at the door. I never wanted to tell everybody all my secrets. Are you kidding me? No, I was going to gatekeep that till the day I died. No one was getting anything out of me about anything. I had to drop my ego, I had to drop my barriers, and I had to say what is in the best interest of the world and everybody is for me to actually stop making myself so important and turn around and work for the esthetician as my sole client. And it wasn't until I had brand alignment that marketing and social media is very easy for me now because I know exactly what to say and I have a system. So that's part of it, is that there could be not an alignment with what you're doing. Jessica, I think you all do also set up product lines for people. I think you're also doing that. We should talk. Maybe we can join forces. I think you work with estheticians. I'm not sure. We need to have a call. There's no scarcity. Like, basically, we can all support each other in every single way. That's why I'm going to come on and coach for free. I'm going to say offers because you might want to have it go farther than just this call. But I'm going to give as much as I can away for free. And that's why I have the Laura Condon, the beauty buster, gave me the group. It was called Elite Estheticians before she died. She messaged me. She said, I'm giving you this group because I believe that what you're doing is important for the industry. I met her at the Skin Games. She's like a New Jersey, the beauty buster. Like, she was on Dr. Oz. She wrote a book. She sat next to me at the very first Skin Games, which I'm the Kelly Clarkson of the Skin Games. She sat next to me. She didn't want to love me. I know she didn't. But by the end of the Skin Games, we were besties, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, you've got it going on. You know what you're talking about." And so she gave me the group, calling it the Abundant Esthetician. I'm just going to pour into you guys. That's the alignment for me. So I really feel like we need the alignment. And Gabriella, just take it slow. It sounds like you already know that you're working with women with facial tension. There's a huge opportunity to serve women that don't want to get procedures, right? How much does it cost to go to the med spa? And I know Brittany and I have worked on this a little bit because we've been coaching a bit. If somebody goes to the med spa and they spend 45 minutes and don't get any personal connection and just get shot up and needled up with a bunch of things, well, how much are they spending? 1,200 bucks? 1,200? 800? 1,200? 30, 45 minutes? Do they look better when they get out? Maybe temporarily. They look like they have less stress, but those women actually, they think they want they think they want the thing, they just don't know that there is an alternative. So I am a pro at finding these little pockets of the soul client and what she really needs. And I truly believe that we need to take a page from the coaching industry and create transformational programs for our client. My celebrity esthetician that I mentioned that has been apprenticing with me, she has a $10,000 offer and she licensed the Light Lift Ritual. Now I can help you set up a transformational offer that's not through my thing that I created. I can help you create your own thing that and you can just take away from this call and just do it on your own. How can you enroll your client in a program? A program is not a series and it's not a package. It is a just like a coaching. Who here has worked with a coach? Almost everybody has had a coaching experience, right? How do they charge you? They charge you a bunch of money. They charge you the money. And why do they charge so much? Because of the transformation. I charge $6,500 for 6 months of working with me because when you get out of that, you're going to be making so much more impact and income for the rest of your life. So the $6,500, I mean, you could spend $6,500 on a machine that would break down in the next few years. So, a transformational program and a transformational offer is the way of the future. It's the way to get off the treatment room treadmill. We have got to look at the other industries' digital offers, online classes. It doesn't have to be full courses. People don't necessarily want to take a full course anymore because we're so overwhelmed. But how can you bring your point of view and help somebody transform the way that they feel about themselves? That's what is needed in this day and age. So I really think that's the future of the industry. And that everything that we have been told and sold about how much money and happiness that we can have in this business, everything that brings up and lets down, are we all willing to uncreate and destroy it all and return it to sender with consciousness attached? Okay, that's just an energy thing. Sorry. Light matrix, clear, cancel, and transmute all of that low vibe, poverty consciousness, and face waitress energy into pure possibility, impact, and income for every esthetician on this call. So that was a quantum clearing. That was very powerful. I don't know if you guys could feel that, but oh. So energy is real. It's just science now. It's a biofield. Your business has an energy. Everything has an energy. And we don't have to get everything right to get started. I am living proof that we can really thrive in this business. I've got the receipts. I want to help you. I want to help you for free or paid. It doesn't really matter. I'm still going to be in the Abundant Esthetician group, giving the high level stuff. But when you're ready to put it into practice, let's work together. All right. Okay, everyone.